Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
Ripple vs. SEC. Court grants plaintiff's request for extension of time. So, everybody out there, wait longer. Judge has approved another lawsuit delay. Surprised, right? No. I don't think anybody's surprised. There's been so many delays. And also, I didn't know that this was potentially going to happen. But on top of this, Ripple's attorneys, for the individual defendants, they actually filed a request for extension themselves for 2 weeks, which would lead out until April 8th. Although even if approved, there's a chance that the delay might not actually last that long. So anyway, SEC, they requested the extension. They got it. Court case delayed again. And then Ripple says, oh yeah, we want a delay too. What? So, I'll explain it. But I've also got opinions from 4 attorneys within the XRP community, including attorney Jeremy Hogan and attorney John Deaton. But before going any further, I do want to be clear that I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say. Alright, I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Excuse me. I'm going to try and quickly set the table here. This is an article from Crypto News Flashes to make sure everybody's caught up to speed. They're covering the fact that the SEC had required another extension, and this was before word that the judge would actually go ahead and say, yes, of course, another delay. So anyway, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission has filed for an extension of time in the Ripple lawsuit. According to documents released by the defense lawyer and former federal prosecutor James K. Filan, that's the XRP community member attorney, the SEC is asking the court to extend the March 23, 2022 deadline for the parties to propose a discovery schedule for the individual defendants. And Ripple responded, and I covered this in another video, so I'm going to be super brief here. Ripple responded, Ripple's attorneys for the individual defendants responded, and they obviously weren't too thrilled. Here's a couple sentences that I'm going to cherry pick from this document, which I already covered in detail 2 days ago. The SEC has delayed resolution of this case long enough. They also wrote, nothing should further delay Ripple from moving for summary judgment and demonstrating to the court that XRP is not a security. And I remember saying at the time, at least I think I said, I won't be surprised in the least if the SEC gets their extension, because that's just par for the course as far as we're concerned at this point, right? So anyway, here is what the judge's ruling was, and it was actually a text-only order, and so I'm not sure what the platform is, but it comes through as a text-only order rather than being some sort of detailed response on formal letterhead and all that jazz. But here's what Attorney Filan shared. He wrote, the SEC's request for an extension of time was granted in a text-only order. It stated, quote, the SEC shall inform the court of its position on whether any additional discovery is required within a week of the filing of the individual defendant's answers. The parties are directed to meet and confer as to a briefing schedule for summary judgment motions. The parties shall submit a joint proposed schedule for the court's approval no later than 1 week after the SEC submission. That's the end of the quote. And then Attorney Filan continued, and he wrote the following. So it appears that the individual defendant's answer is due April 8th, 2022. The SEC's position on additional discovery is due on April 15th, 2022, and the joint proposed scheduling order is due April 22nd, 2022. Now, the filing of the individual defendant's answer is the triggering event. When the answer is filed, even if before April 8th, the date the answer is filed starts the 2-week clock running for the filing of the SEC position on discovery and the joint proposed scheduling order. So there's certainly a chance this could happen. I don't know, and you'll see with the separate, there's a what Ripple's attorneys filed today. You'll circle around back to this topic, but it does depend on whether or not Ripple's anywhere near having their response prepared, because if it comes out tomorrow, hey, clock starts ticking, this is less of a big deal. Attorney Jeremy Hogan shared the following thoughts on this topic. What I like about this order, Judge Netburn ties the deadlines to how quickly Garlinghouse/Larson file their answers. The sooner they are filed, the sooner the 1-week clock starts. Also, she ordered a summary judgment briefing schedule, which hadn't been ordered previously. And somebody named Nate in the community here on Twitter wrote the following to Jeremy. Tell me more of this summary judgment briefing. And Jeremy responded and wrote, the parties are supposed to lay out a time frame for summary judgment briefs to be filed and finalized. Once those briefs are submitted, the case could be decided in theory at any time. Yeah, by the way, I'm going to show you in just a second. Attorney John Deaton had some interesting things to say about settlement and the probability of settlement. Somebody else jumped in here named Maxie Tilt and wrote to Jeremy, judging from the footnotes you previously highlighted, I doubt the two are going to agree on the timelines. What would happen in that instance? And Jeremy Hogan wrote, correct. In that case, the judge will lay out the timeline for them, and based on prior rulings, she will probably split the baby as far as time. Is there another way to say that? Seems gruesome, he writes. And then there was also this. Somebody named V wrote to Jeremy and said, the end is in sight, right? Does your initial prediction for all this to be over by latest in September still stand? And Jeremy Hogan wrote, yes, nothing changed yet. It's obvious Ripple wants to have it briefed and ready for the judge to decide the case this summer. It's also obvious that the SEC will say that they can't be ready that fast and try to push the briefing schedule back. And so that would be also par for the course. The SEC wants to drag this thing out as long as possible. And so far, the judge has caved on that front. Which leads to this next comment. Somebody named Trafford wrote to Jeremy and said, is there a flip side of this? Is there something you don't like, Jeremy, regarding this extension being granted? And Jeremy wrote, just in general, Judge Netburn is very chill as far as pushing the case along quickly. Yeah, no kidding. Very chill on that front. Doesn't seem to mind delays at every twist and turn, unfortunately. And then there was this. Here's what Attorney John Deaton had to say about this. This extension is a big deal in form, but not in substance. We all would love to see denied. Technically speaking, it's understandable why it was granted. The SEC really doesn't need to see the answer to decide whether more discovery is needed, but that's usually how it's done. It's a big deal to people because it's another delay by the SEC. Practically speaking, however, it won't delay the case much at all. I wouldn't be surprised to see Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson's answers filed by the end of this week. And again, that's important because clock starts as soon as those answers are filed. And then somebody named XRP Wing Commander Twaddle wrote, hi, John. Is the biggest trigger for a settlement the motion for reconsideration and the judge sticking to her guns and telling the SEC to turn the emails over? if they didn't want to reveal what was in them, would their only way out of that be a quick settlement around May? And so, of course, what he's referencing there is the 63 emails associated with the Billy Boy Hinman Ethereum free pass speech that the SEC is fighting tooth and nail to not turn over. And here's what John Deaton had to say about that. And this is bold and encouraging. He wrote, "When I was on Link 2, I predicted a settlement within 90 days from the day they're ordered to turn over the 63 emails with the draft speech and Roisman meeting notes. I stand by that prediction because the SEC will never want to turn over those documents, even if sealed from the public." So if that January, I think it was January 13th ruling from the judge, if she ends up standing by that ruling saying, SEC, you must hand that over, from the day that that is reaffirmed, and we should be getting an answer on that any day now, for the moment that's reaffirmed, assuming that's what happens, Attorney John Deaton saying, clock starts there, 90 days. His prediction is that 90 days from that point in time, we're going to see a settlement. So, you can understand why, right? Look, we don't know for sure what's in those emails, but what are the odds that not one person said, well, what does this mean for XRP? Or they said something like Ethereum and XRP are kind of similar in these ways. If there's any sort of uncertainty or any sort of sentence in any of those emails referencing, hey, there's market confusion, that would just destroy the SEC's case. So there's a reason that Attorney Deaton here is making this bold prediction. There's probably something in there. It's speculation. I'm speculating on it. He's speculating on it. Perfectly reasonable, though. And why? Why are we speculating so strongly? Well, because I haven't seen the SEC fight harder to stop anything from getting in the hands of Ripple. Nothing more so than this. There's something damning in there. There's got to be something completely ridiculous in there. All right, now check out this. This is from Attorney Filing. The individual defendants have filed a motion for extension of time until April 8th, 2022 to file their answers to the SEC's first amended complaint. And so here's the document on your screen. I don't need to read it, but just note that they're requesting a 2-week extension from March 25th to April 8th this year. And Attorney Filing also wrote, the SEC and the individual defendants discussed an April 8th deadline for filing the answers, and the SEC noted that in its motion, but nothing was filed officially asking to set that date. So procedurally, this cleans that up, but nothing prevents filing the answer sooner. Yeah, so this shouldn't be a surprise that this also is still actually not the end of the world. And the answers can be filed again as soon as the attorneys for Brad and Chris are ready. So in theory, they could have just had this ready beforehand, and then there would be really just no need for any sort of extension whatsoever. And so somebody named Robert wrote to Attorney Filing and said, why bother filing for the motion for extension? I thought they had until the 8th anyway. And then somebody named Sherry within the community wrote, it was an implied date that hadn't been in writing, which needed to be made legally official, which is basically what Filing said in that last tweet I just shared, but he did respond also and said, Sherry is correct. They were just making sure the docket was correct and complete regarding due dates. No unforced errors. And then Attorney Fred Rispoli, a member of the XRP community, responded to Attorney Filing, and he shared his opinion, and he doesn't seem too happy. He wrote, honestly, this is the first time I've been disappointed in Ripple lawyers. Not harmful in any way, but they knew complaint was not getting stricken and could have had answer locked and loaded. Only excuse is if Ripple didn't authorize lawyers to bill for that, which I doubt. So it's true, again, it's kind of like I was saying just a second ago. They could have had a response to this ready to go to prevent any sort of additional delay, but then Ripple's attorneys had to do the work, which also means they had to pay for that work, and that's not cheap, of course. So I don't know. But of course, they really want to get this done, so it's kind of surprising. You'd think that they just kind of bite the bullet on that anyway, but looks like they didn't. Or at least, or if they did start moving on that, at a minimum, they didn't have it ready to go in a timely enough fashion that would make this extension request unnecessary. And so attorney Filan responded to that and he wrote, "I wouldn't be surprised if we see the answers before April 8th. So there you go. Looks like if this case is fully adjudicated, Attorney Hogan still stands by the fact that this, in his opinion, isn't going to change when the case ends, assuming that this does go to summary judgment. And so that would be potentially September. I think he had previously highlighted that it could be as late as like the second half of November, though.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.